Imagine walking into a fine dining restaurant with white tablecloths, silver cutlery, premium wines, and a tasting menu rooted in French gastronomy. For an experience like that, you'd expect to be in France, right? Well, not necessarily, and today I'm going to show you why. Because someone told me about a restaurant that delivers way above their 1 Michelin-star rating. In fact, some people say this experience is on par with certain 3-star restaurants in France. That's a bold comparison. But before I take you inside, there's something you should know. Because this restaurant, we're not in France and the chef isn't French either. This entire experience is created by a Danish couple. So I wonder, can a restaurant in Oslo, run by 2 Danes, truly deliver a French fine dining experience at a world-class level? Or is that simply too much to hope for? Tonight, we're going to find out, and I want your verdict too. So join me inside Restaurant Allés and let's see if this place can stand up to the very best in France. To get there, I take a taxi to the western part of Oslo. Allés is tucked away in the Majorstuen and Frogner area of Oslo, one of the city's most elegant and established neighborhoods. This part of town is known for its wide boulevards, grand apartment buildings, and a calm residential atmosphere. Just minutes from the busy shopping streets and the historic villas of Frogner, it's a kind of neighborhood where old-world charm meets modern Oslo. And in the middle of all this, behind a discreet facade, you'll find Restaurant Allés. I arrive a bit early, but I'm greeted friendly by the staff, and wow, what a nice first impression of this place. As I walk in, the first thing I notice is how quiet the room feels. There's soft carpeting under your feet and a warm, muted color palette that gives the whole space this calm, almost cocoon-like atmosphere. The tables are large and round, dressed in heavy, perfectly ironed white linen, with classic silverware, tall champagne glasses, and elegant porcelain that immediately sets the tone. The lighting is low and flattering, coming from chandeliers and small table lamps that cast a gentle glow across the room. There's plenty of space between each table, ensuring the privacy many guests appreciate. It's formal and timeless, but it's also incredibly inviting, which fits perfectly because Allés quite literally means to feel at ease. And who's better to make guests feel at ease here than the hosts themselves?
Welcome to Restaurant Allés.
This is Chef Ulrik Jepsen and his lovely wife Mia Kondrup. Before opening Allés, they had already built impressive careers across Europe's most demanding fine dining environments. Ulrik trained in classic French haute cuisine, working at places where precision and technique are non-negotiable. Mia built her expertise front of house, developing that rare combination of elegance, warmth, and control that later earned her the Michelin Service Award. Together, they moved to Norway, where Ulrik spent several years as head chef at Engø Gård, refining his style and vision. Eventually, they saw a gap in Oslo, a city with great restaurants, but missing that old-school French luxury they both loved. So in 2017, they created it themselves. And that became Allés. But what are they really trying to achieve here? With all that talk about food, let's get seated at our table. First, water is poured, and right from the start, you can tell this is a place with attention to detail and quality. Even the water is poured from a Riedel decanter here. I like it. Then the amazing champagne cart arrives with a fabulous selection of unique champagnes, each one handpicked by the team here at Allés. I choose to start with a glass from a champagne house that has been quietly perfecting finesse since 1843. Besserat de Bellefond is known for crafting champagnes with lower pressure than the traditional Méthode Champenoise, resulting unusually silky, almost creamy mouthfeel. Their Bleu Brut is a blend dominated by Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, made to be gastronomic rather than just celebratory, and therefore should pair well with the first bites. On the nose, fresh brioche, lemon zest, white flowers with fine bubbles, crisp orchard fruit, and a hint of hazelnuts. I really like this one. Then my friend Christopher arrives and we're finally ready to get the evening started. First, we are presented with the menus. Allés offers 3 tasting menus. Our choice is the Prestige menu with 20 servings, but they also offer the Petit Allés menu with 12 servings and the Canard à la Presse menu with 23 servings. Each menu has its dedicated wine pairing, and I'll reveal the prices at the end so that you can decide if this place offers good value or not. We'll see. Next, wet towels arrive. And if you're still not convinced, this place takes every detail seriously. Just watch how they present something as simple as the wet towel.
So,
Since Norway is covered in 40% forest, here we've smoked and infused a small warm towel for you guys to begin with.
Then, finally, some food. Here we have the first 3 snacks. Hand-dyed scallops from Frøya in the midwestern part of Norway, served with brown butter and scallop reduction. Next to it, we have the classic Skagenrøre, made with shrimps from Lyngen in northern Norway, smoked salmon and cured egg yolk. And then a lumpe, which is sort of a soft potato tortilla filled with cured mackerel and pickled shallots. I love the atmosphere and the presentations here. It's presented in a friendly and subtle way, and the dishes in itself looks very elegant. Nothing speaks loud here, but that is about to change when I taste the first snack. I love these first bites. They're packed with flavor, and they immediately signal that this kitchen is genuinely serious about what they do. 3 more snack bites arrive.
So now we're moving from the sea to the land.
Here we have cheese croquettes with morels, a croque monsieur with Dijon mustard, Gruyere cheese and cured ham, and last but not least, their take on Caesar salad with crispy chicken skin. Yet again, 3 delicious snacks with lots of flavor and wonderful textures. A great opening act. Before we move into the main courses, there's a transition dish, and of course, no French-inspired menu is complete without an onion soup. Allais's version looks deceptively simple, but it's beautifully layered. Steamed egg custard, rich onion broth, soft onion compote, guanciale, crisp croutons, and a light comté cheese espuma on top. Absolutely flawless. As we prepare for the first main course, the sommelier is back with another glass of, yeah, you guessed it.
You can never get enough champagne.
And this is a champagne with a story. Created by Danish winemaker Yvonne Sejer Christensen and named after her 5 daughters. Impressive. The cuvée comes from Grand Cru vineyards in one of the most prized terroirs for Chardonnay. Her winemaking philosophy is all about purity, long aging on the lees, minimal intervention, and very low or 0 dosage to let the chalky Cote Blanc soil speak for themselves. In the glass, you get a vibrant mineral-driven Blanc de Blancs with citrus peel, green apple, and a fine chalk texture. Elegant, clean, and most importantly here, gastronomic. An excellent match to the next course. Let's hear what Chef Ulrik says about it.
Citra caviar from Rossini company, 14 years old sturgeon with a champagne beurre blanc ice cream, and we have a tuile made of olive oil and a vinegar brown butter and olive oil actually.
Texture and temperature on point. I really like that they serve the champagne beurre blanc as an ice cream. Wonderful. With 2 glasses of champagne behind us, we are traveling a bit further southwest in France for the next wine. Clos du Papillon is one of the great terroirs of Savennières in the Loire Valley and made from 100% Chenin Blanc. This vineyard is famous for its butterfly-shaped slope of schist, volcanic rock, and sandstone, which gives the wine its trademark tension and minerality. In the glass, you get a dry, powerful expression of Chenin Blanc with aromas of quince, yellow apple, chamomile, and crushed stone. The palate is structured and textural with ripe orchard fruit wrapped around a firm mineral core, finishing with a touch of beeswax and salt. It is a seriously layered and energetic wine, definitely built for food. And luckily, we don't have to wait long, because here we have poached halibut with a layer of crochets on top. Underneath, there's a green tomato chutney. The foam is made of blue mussel broth, flavored with chamomile. Halibut can easily overcook and dry out, but here it's poached to perfection. I did miss a bit of texture and contrast in this one, though that's personal preference. The flavors were excellent and the wine pairing spot on. Next up, we have the mandatory bread and butter serving. Did I mention butter?
So this is butter coming from Røros. I just add a little bit of salt coming from Læsø in Denmark. Then I'm just making sure that it's all evenly in the butter here. Then truffles. That we're going to just a little bit here, add into the butter. And of course, adding it to the butter nice and evenly here, just to make sure we get all the butter with. And then we're going to shape it off here. And then we're finishing up here with more truffles.
And with this amazing truffle butter, we are presented with a still warm brioche bread, and more butter, of course.
So, as promised,
We were instructed to keep some of the bread for later, but it was honestly hard to leave it alone. This was an outstanding bread serving. Our journey through the French wine regions continues, and now we're moving even further south. This wine comes from Gerard Bertrand's biodynamic flagship estate in the south of France, Domaine de Scallops, a project he created to prove that Languedoc can produce wines with true international polish. The vineyard is fully Demeter certified, farmed with meticulous care, and the blend is unmistakably Bertrand, a meeting point between Mediterranean ripeness and a more classic French structure. The Scallops Blanc opens with fresh citrus peel, white blossom, and a whisper of minerality on the nose. On the palate, it is clean and focused. Orchard fruit and lemon zest mingle with subtle herbal tones and a lingering saline finish. Let's hear what Chef Ulrik has up his sleeve for this wine pairing.
So this is the poached skate from Skagenrøre, which has been slightly caramelized and grilled with the pickled watermelon reddish from Bremsegård and a classic sauce bouillabaisse. So again, here's the best from two worlds.
Yet another excellent dish. The technical level here is very high. Cooked to perfection, concentrated flavors, balanced, and also perfect temperatures at serving. Before the next course, our friendly sommelier is back. And after a few glasses of still whites, I'm happy to see that he is bringing more bubbles.
I think I said it before, never enough champagne.
I like your style.
Blanc de Blanc, but here we definitely go in the complete other direction than the previous. So for me, Piège is the epiphany of the delicate style of Blanc de Blanc.
Perrier has been famous for its Chardonnay-driven style since the early 1900s, and their Blanc de Blancs is crafted entirely from selected Chardonnay process chosen for purity and finesse. It is a contemporary expression meant to show the lighter, more vibrant side of the Maison. In the glass, you get white flowers, citrus zest, and crisp green pear carried by fine bubbles. The palate is clean and elegant with notes of lemon blossom, fresh orchard fruit, and a gentle, chalky finish that gives the wine its lift. The course matching this wonderful champagne is a fun presentation of white asparagus, huge scallops from Frøya, and a delicate butter sauce infused with fermented asparagus and chive oil. Buttery sauce and buttery scallops, rich and wonderful flavors, but again I was missing some acidity to balance the flavors here. Luckily, the champagne did the job of cleaning the palate, and it was a great pairing once again. Before the next main meat course, we decided to take a short timeout, and we are of course offered yet another glass of champagne from the sommelier. I really start to like this guy. Alexandre Bonnet is one of the defining producers of Les Risées, a remote southern village in Champagne known for its steep slopes of Kimmeridgian limestone and its deep devotion to Pinot Noir. This area sits in fact so close to Burgundy that the wines often carry a more vinous, terroir-driven character, and Bonnet has become the reference point for showing just how expressive Pinot Noir can be in this corner of Champagne. Their wine, the Risées Blanc de Noirs, is crafted entirely from Pinot Noir, obviously, grown on these chalky, south-facing slopes. In the glass, it's elegant, yet powerful, with aromas of red apple, ripe pear, wild strawberries, and a touch of pastry. The palate has a beautiful tension, generous fruit wrapped around a firm mineral spine, followed by notes of chalk, citrus peel, and a long, savory finish. I love this wine. Our meal continues with more seafood, and here we have whitefish from Lofoten in the northern part of Norway, served with caramelized yeast and a compote made of Jerusalem artichoke and red aroma apples. Chef Ulrik finishes it at the table with an intense and amazing sea urchin bisque, with clear instructions on how to enjoy it. Wonderful aromas and delicate flavors. I really like this one. For the pairing, we're finally moving over in red wine territory, and for the first time tonight traveling outside of France. This one comes from Weingut Törle, one of the rising stars of German Pinot Noir. The Hölle vineyard in Rheinhessen is one of the reasons why. It is a steep, limestone-rich site that produces remarkably Burgundian expression of Burgunder, but with a distinct German precision and purity. The brothers, Johannes and Christoph Törle, work with organic farming and low intervention winemaking, letting this vineyard's mineral structure shine. A silky, focused Spätburgunder with wild cherry, raspberry, rose and subtle spice. The palate is elegant and bright with chalky tannins and a long finish of red berries, earth and a hint of savory notes. A great match to the fish. And we continue with yet another fish course. This is monkfish en côte, served on a base of Romano beans, a foamy sherry sauce, stuffed morels, and finished with a morel choux. There's a lot going on here, with rich and incredible concentrated flavors, excellent combinations of texture as well, and a great last main course. And for the pairing, the sommelier brings us back to France. And what a wine this is!
So, get to present my favorite wine on the pairing.
Wow!
Even though I am a champagne guy, this one just absolutely stunning. So here we have Le Dominant from Bruno Clair.
Bruno Clair is one of Burgundy's great classical voices, known for purity, transparency, and a deep respect for all wines. His parcel in La Dominante is among the jewels of Sauvigny Le Bon, a premier cru site planted with very old Pinot Noir, some wines more than 80 years of age. The vineyard sits on a slope of limestone and iron-rich clay, giving the wine both finesse and a distinct earthy depth. I was actually cycling through this vineyard just a couple of months ago, and this part of Burgundy is absolutely stunning. There's something special about riding your bike straight through some of the world's greatest vineyards. And if you want to see more from that trip, where I visited 3 different Michelin-star restaurants in the region, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that upcoming video. With the main courses done, we indulge in one of France's most proud produce.
Washed cheeses on the top, together with our goat milk. So here we have something like croton, salsiccia, that's that, and blue cheeses where we are on the Roquefort, the Bleu d'Auvergne, and the Steltons. On the bottom shelf we have blooming cheese or white malt cheeses. Here we're on the Brie, the Camembert, the Saint Michelin, that's that. Then we go towards the semi-hard and hard, both cow and sheep milk, in the form of something like a Tom de Soie, a Cantal, or Soireti. And then we finish with the last more harder style or dry style of the washed cheeses, something like a Revolution or a Münster.
We trusted the sommelier to plate a selection for us and also got him to top up the red wine. Excellent. With that, it is time for dessert. First up is a fresh yogurt sorbet served with raspberries and juniper. This one served as a transition after the cheese, a much needed cold and fresh mouthful before the 2 main desserts coming up. But first, more wine. And with this one, we return to Germany. Schloss Vollrads is in fact one of the oldest wine estates in the world, with a documented history of Riesling production dating back to the year of 1211. Quite remarkable. Located in the heart of the Rheingau, the estate has built its reputation on producing elegant, precise Rieslings with a balance that very few can match. The village of Winkel provides warmer exposures and deep soils that give the grapes both ripeness and aromatic intensity. And this Spätlese is beautifully balanced, ripe peach, apricot and lime zest on the nose with juicy sweetness and vibrant acidity on the palate. A classic Rheingau interplay of richness and lift. To go with this excellent sweet wine, we dive headfirst into one of the best seasonal products in the Norwegian summer.
We continue on the dessert. Second dessert here we play a lot with rhubarb, such in season. Their main focus is our rörelserömme fromage with rossini vanilla. Underneath rhubarb compote, top of it a set consommé of rhubarb sorbet and a rhubarb tuile. Take your spoon and enjoy all the layers.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
I'm a sucker for desserts with high acidity, and this one did not disappoint. Right up my alley when it comes to desserts. Bravo! Acidic is not how I can describe the next dessert, however, because here we are up for a final bomb of sweetness with hazelnut and dark chocolate leading the way. There's also some creme de cassis and blackcurrant sorbet here, adding a much needed contrast. And for the wine pairing, we're once again back in France. From the historic Domaine Touches in the Loire Valley, this is a 100% Chenin Blanc that has seen decades of cellar aging before release, a hallmark of this winemaker's philosophy. It has aromas of dried apricots, honey, candied citrus peel, and even a hint of chanterelle mushrooms and forest floor. With residual sugar around 90 grams per liter, it's sweet, but also well balanced with nice acidity. A great match once again from the scaled beverage team here at Alès. We end the dining experience with a last round of small sweet bites.
Here we have the petit fours, pâte de fruits, here made with raspberry. We would recommend to start there since it's quite tart compared to the rest. Then of the baked goods we have financier with citrus, cannelé bodley with rum and vanilla, and then we have two types of chocolate. We have chocolate covered almond, and then we have a chocolate bonbon that we have filled with salted caramel.
And as this was not enough, I'm seriously full now. We are offered a digestive as the final nail in the coffin.
So eau-de-vie or fruit-based spirits, when we are in the German country or German-speaking countries, it's called schnapps. So this is Rochelle from Tyrol. In Italy, it's made on quince, raspberry, and Poor William.
And with that, our dinner at Alès had come to an end. And it's time to evaluate this experience and give this restaurant a final rating across the 4 taste bud categories. But before we do that, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and give the video a like. It helps me bring you more unique insights into the world's best restaurants. Thank you. Now, let's evaluate the first category: design and atmosphere. This is a beautiful restaurant with an amazing atmosphere. It's classic fine dining, and I mean that in the best possible way. At a time when so many restaurants lean into modern, industrial, experimental, or ultra-minimalistic design, Alès goes in the opposite direction. It feels warm, welcoming, and almost like being invited into someone's elegant home. We're giving it 9 out of 10 for design and atmosphere. A very strong start to the first category. The next category is service. I'll keep this short because the service here is outstanding. The staff is attentive, highly professional, and warm in a way that generally makes you smile. You feel completely taken care of from the moment you walk in. There's really nothing to deduct here, and only a full score is fair, 20 out of 20 points. Next up, we have the wine category. The wines in the pairing were generally very good, and most of them matched the dishes beautifully. As expected, there was a strong French presence, but also a couple of interesting detours into Germany. And I have to highlight the champagne cart. It alone deserves a high score, featuring a thoughtful mix of established houses and top grower champagnes. What I really appreciate at Alès is that every course receives its own carefully selected pairing. At this level, it should be the standard, but it's not always guaranteed anymore. Too many restaurants lean on one wine for 2 or even more courses. And that, in my opinion, takes away from the experience. Here, they do it right, and we rate the wine category at 18 out of 20 points. Now, for the most important category, the food. Chef Ulrik runs the kitchen with a steady, confident hand. His mission is to bring classic French haute cuisine back to Oslo, but shaped through his own modern lens and built on top quality Norwegian produce. And that's exactly what he delivers. The technique, the precision, the depth of flavors, it's all there. There are a few small details that could be tightened, but overall, this is a beautifully executed menu with great structure, flow, and progression from start to finish. For the food category, we land on an impressive 47 out of 50 points. Well done. And that brings the total score for Alès to 94 points, placing it in my outstanding restaurants tier, and in fact, one of the best Michelin-star restaurants I've reviewed so far. Well done to Ulrik, Mia, and the entire team. And if you're wondering how this experience stacks up against the 3 Michelin-starred Miami just down the street, I made a full review of that as well. Watch this video next to see how the two compare. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.